Always love to see people hype when that intro music comes on.
That's for the hip hop
Welcome,
heads right there.
for sure. My buddy actually made that for us a couple years ago. Well, made it for me, and then I've transitioned into this show. But yeah, man, welcome to another episode of Around the Clock Podcast. We talk all things sports. This is kind of a new segment called People You Need to Know. I've got Bradford Wilson on. Do you go by Brad or Bradford?
Bradford.
Okay, I got Bradford Wilson
Mama
on.
named Bradford. I'm gonna call him Bradford.
For sure. He's known as Bradford Wilson Golfs on Instagram. If you haven't heard of him, check him out. I mean, you probably should know about him if you're in the golf game. Really inspirational guy. As far as I can tell, he's sponsored with Adidas Golf. He just partnered with LA Golf Club. He does some stuff with the Southern California Golf Association as well. So dude's heavily involved in the golf game, which is why I'm interested to have him on and kind of talk about his journey, especially as a black-owned kind of creator, a black brand. That's always awesome to see in this space, especially as we know the game of golf wasn't always like that. But yeah, man, from what I read on your bio, you started playing at the age of 13. And before we started recording, I found out you were from South Jersey. I was going to ask you if you're from L.A. When did you make the move to L.A.?
Moved to LA late 2015. Yeah, spent 25 years of my life in South Jersey, freezing, as you shared with me before we started recording. You under some snow right now. I was done
you
with
get
the
about
snow.
6-7 months of the golf season. Usually you might get that one day that peaks above 50, and then it's back
Yes.
indoors for sure.
Yeah, I was done with that. I wanted to golf. I wanted sunshine. I wanted all 360 days of sun I was promised in Southern California. So
For sure.
this is home now.
And so did golf specifically just bring you out to LA, or is there more opportunities as far as were you kind of already in the content space prior to the move?
I had no aspirations to create content whatsoever at the time I moved. I had dreams of acting and, being on the screen and things like that, which is part of the reason why I moved. But I never really thought about what it looked like or knew what it looked like. I just knew the feeling I was after. I knew that South Jersey, even like the greater Philadelphia area, didn't have what I was looking for, didn't have the people, the places, the things to push me the way that I felt like I could be pushed creatively. And it so happened that it aligned with a job opportunity and a partner who was moving at the same time. So LA became the landing spot.
For sure. And then so when did the content kind of, I guess, start, or when did the golf side of like your career kind of start? Did you play at the collegiate level or anything, play in high school?
Yeah, I played a little bit in high school. I kind of just messed around in high school. Played in college for 3 years. I walked on to to my college team. I tell people soccer is what got me to college, and golf is what kept me in college. Because I was recruited to a little small school outside of Philadelphia called Immaculata University. They're famous for being the first women's NCAA national champions in basketball.
Ever?
Ever. Yeah.
Wow.
In 76, 77, 78. And they were an all women's college up until 2006, I believe. And when I got there, the graduating class was the first co-ed class in that school's history. So they had a lot of incentive to bring males on campus and to recruit athletes and things like that. So the soccer coach heavily pursued me. So that's what got me to that school. Some of the guys. So for those who aren't familiar with like how Catholic schools and dioceses work, the Archdiocese of Camden and the Archdiocese of Philadelphia are essentially sisters right over the bridge. So a lot of the schools and the athletes that I played against in high school were also in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, greater Philadelphia college region. So I knew a lot of these guys from soccer and from golf. And when I got to school, a lot of the guys that were on the golf team at my college were also on my high school golf team. And they were like, bro, we know you can play. Like, come play on the golf team. Like, stop playing. Like, you're learning, but you're fun. and we are not. Please come liven up the golf team. We just want you around. Like, we can coach you up, we can get you better. And that's what happened. They did their job recruiting me, and I walked on, made the team after like 2 practices, and played for 3 years.
Nice. And this was you said 2008 when you went, or?
2008 was my freshman year. So I started, so I played 09, 10, 11.
So I feel like that time frame, especially, I mean, outside of knowing who Tiger Woods was, there wasn't a lot of people that looked like you and I in the golf space. And most definitely the golf space didn't look anything of what it looks like today. So, like, what was that like? Because I'm sure a lot of the courses you played, you were probably the only black kid that showed up. I mean, did you play against a lot of other, kids that looked like you, or probably not? Okay. I think I knew the answer before I asked that, but, just for content, you got to ask.
Yeah, that's my villain origin story. It was being the only black player on my college team, in the conference, in the region, in the state. Like, everywhere we went, I was the only black person, like, let alone player.
Yeah.
It was an island, I was on my own. I didn't have anybody to relate to, even watch, like, Tiger was it, and the internet wasn't the internet that it is today. It's not like I could pull up Instagram and, find other black players that I could relate to, or even connect with like that. Like, I wasn't really on, Facebook or MySpace looking for black golfers like that. I found them much, much later. But it was isolating. It was scary, even, to be frank. Like, the experiences I had in college shaped a lot of what my early golf content looked like. I was hurt. I was, made fun of. I was picked on. I was bullied every day, and it caused me to hate golf. So after it's a wonder that I'm here today, because golf was the last thing I wanted to do after that college experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of how I found your content. I think the first thing that I might have seen of you would have been like maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And you kind of wrote, it was almost like therapy, kind of the way you spoke. And you're very eloquent as well. I mean, you use great words. You're super intelligent just from everything I see. But I could kind of tell you were a bit different from your typical golf creator. And I don't know if, like, do you really, like, I don't know how you feel about the term creator. I kind of view your page and kind of what you do is a little bit different. I mean, I know you make golf content, but you do a multitude of other things. Like, do you view yourself in that realm, or do you just say, like, hey, I'm just a guy that loves golf?
Yeah, I mean, I like creative something in a description, creativity is what wakes me up every day. I love it. Whether I'm writing or singing or dancing or talking or whatever, or creating golf content, it's all creative pursuit. It is very, very difficult to define what I do, though, because it is so vast.
I would agree.
I'm an inch deep and mile wide.
Yeah.
I contain multitudes.
Yeah,
so.
I'm scrolling through your page. I'm like, okay, this guy's with Adidas, and at one point you did something with Lululemon. Obviously the LA Golf Club. You're the host of a podcast as well, which congrats on 100 episodes. I just saw that recently.
Oh man, thank you.
You guys surpassed that, so that's really dope, man. Like, people don't realize in this space how hard it is to accomplish, 5 episodes, let alone 100.
Bro.
And with the same people as well from day one. That's always tough. But so 2015, you make a move to LA. Like, when does the golf sort of, I guess, business side of things kind of start for you? Or kind of how did that happen? I mean, I know you said you were kind of pursuing more of a creative process in the terms of acting.
2015, I moved here. I was teaching at a school. I was running their athletic program, so I was coaching like 5 to 7 sports at a time. Like, that was all I was doing, and teaching PE. My third year at this school, we got a couple of transfer students, ironically from New Jersey, who were in the AJGA circuit, which is essentially AAU for elite golfers, for junior golfers. They transferred to my school, and my principal was like, hey, I know you got a lot on your plate, but I'm about to give you one more entree These two golfers are studs, and according to the CYO at the time, the Catholic Youth Organization, you only needed two golfers to field a golf team. So he was like, just let's use these two. Let's start this golf program and let's see where it goes. The athletic director of me was like, I can't just gatekeep the golf team. Let me even if we get two more golfers, like let's just see who's out there. Two turned into like 14.
Wow.
I had a full roster of golfers
on top of the other sports you're kind of working with.
Yes. So ranging from 4th to 8th grade, I had 14 golfers who were enthusiastic and passionate. Not all of them were great, but through coaching with them, being with them, watching them participate in this sport, it just did something to me. Like I didn't start playing until I was 13, but I was playing by myself, and I was also emulating. So Willingboro, New Jersey, where I grew up, is a very black town. Like the population is, I want to say, over 80% black. The town was literally constructed to house overflow military families, black military families. So my family moved there. Shit, everyone in my family circle lives there still. So
more like a town where everybody can feel a little bit more comfortable in.
Yes. And also, like, if you look on the map, Willingboro is not near any other major cities. We're halfway between Camden and Trenton. Like there's nothing really going on in there. So Willingboro was doing its own thing. So I was watching older black people play golf. That was my earliest inspiration. So at a young age, I didn't really have anyone else around my age to play with. So being with these students, watching them engage with golf in a way that I hadn't seen with they kind of like didn't give a fuck. They were just like,
yeah,
Mr. Wilson started a golf team. Let's go hit ball. Like, and I was like, yo, wait, this is actually super refreshing. I like this. I'm going to come back to this.
We don't care about the competitive nature of it. We just want to go out and play and have fun.
Literally. And that was such a breath of fresh air for me, especially coming off that college experience where I felt uncomfortable with the game. I felt uncomfortable being in that space with a club in my hand, walking into clubhouses. I didn't want any parts of golf, but these kids brought me back to it. So coached that team for 1 year and got another job opportunity. This is 2017 now. Was taking acting classes, shooting short films and shit on the side. What I thought I wanted it wasn't giving. It was not giving. And I had, this itch to try golf again. I really wanted to engage with golf again. I started playing a lot by myself. And one of the earliest groups, or one of the earliest like faces that I engaged with in golf via social media was Joe Hooks. If I ever see Joe Hooks again, I will see him again. When I see Joe Hooks again, I have to tell him this story because I can vividly remember I was in my apartment in Eagle Rock, couldn't sleep, scrolling through Instagram, and saw one of the best looking swings I had seen from a teenage black person. I was like, who is this? Scrolling through his entire page, watching swing after swing after swing. He's racking up tournament wins. I'm like, and then I see up in his bio at We Black Golfers. And I'm like, huh?
I ain't never seen that before.
I was like, there's more of you? So I go down this rabbit hole from Joe Hooks to Nicole Jones to Shasta Avery Hart to Sedina Parks to Mariah Stackhouse. And I'm learning all these people, like these people are young and successful in golf, and we all look like we could be related. And I'm like, what is this? How do I become a part of this? So this is 2017, 2018. Since I hadn't, played golf formally, I wasn't very good, but I was still playing, and I was like, you know what? I may not be a part of We Black Golfers, but let me shoot a couple videos. Let me see what's up. So before the pandemic, was posting videos here and there. Like my social media presence at that time was just about my acting stuff. Like I was posting commercials I booked or print campaign I was doing, or just like silly little videos. And when I started posting golf content was when I got some followers from the golf space. That led to, during the pandemic, I booked a television show. It was a golf talk show called, oh God, what was it called? Give me 1 second. Talk.
That means they didn't pay you enough. No, I'm just kidding.
They ain't pay me at all, brother. They ain't pay me at all, my brother. It was called Talk Golfing to Me. So that was during the pandemic. That was 2020. That experience, though it wasn't, the best, most lucrative, most, elevated, polished show, it jump-started my golf career. And I owe a lot to that show because I got experience talking about golf on camera. Had my own segment. Like I was really just kind of thrown into the fire, and it just, I didn't look back. I was like, this is where I belong. This is it.
And it's crazy to see that you can make a career out of this without actually playing. I mean, obviously you play golf, but you can make a career out of it without being in the PGA Tour or, chasing the Korn Ferry or even like the APT guys, which I think is really dope what they have. Like I just found out about that maybe like a year or two ago. Like there's like a black professional golf league out there.
Yeah.
With different pathways. Like what does it mean to you to be like, do you realize that you are breaking barriers, that you amongst a few other creators, like I know that I've seen a couple videos with you and Will, is it Lowry, I believe is his name?
Yeah.
Him and my girl are kind of like Instagram friends, so I know that they know each other kind of well, I guess. Like Roger Steele or Bryce Butler, like seeing what you guys are able to do in a sport that's been obviously dominated by people that look nothing like us, and also bringing that blackness to the game. It's like a lot of the times I think a lot of us are, the way we were raised, and especially when we got in public, we're almost afraid to be black, if that makes sense. Like not afraid to be black, but afraid to be your genuine self because you don't want that perception of who you may or may not be. And the thing that I love about you guys is that you guys are like unapologetically black. And I know that that's kind of been like a newer thing, but I love to see it, like I think it's incredible. Especially awesome as someone who's trying to get into like the creative space and starting to do things as well and seeing people that look like me being successful in it. Like, what does that mean for you? Or did you see yourself being here? I mean, being posted by Adidas Golf, I mean, that's a big deal. Maybe not to you, but to me it is. Like, that's incredible to see.
I really appreciate you saying that. I never knew what this would look like. I knew that there were other voices, other people out there who were much more established than me, but I felt like my voice was unique enough to maybe stand out. Like maybe I can do things a little bit differently. When I don't do enough like self-reflection on the journey. But I'm really grateful to be amongst guys like Bryce and Will and Doug. Doug Smith. He's my older brother, older cousin, pain in the ass, mentor. Doug's a broadcaster, does PGA Tour Live, NBC Sports. He and Will's podcast sponsored by NBC. Like these guys, I study. Like I listen to religiously. I watch them on television every Sunday. Actually, coming up here, they'll be doing the APGA Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines, and I'll be there on Sunday. And I'm just gonna walk around following Will and Doug. Like those are still my guys. Like I still revere them. as much as I can, call them and give them shit as
Yeah.
peers, like I still have a huge level of respect for them. Roger's another one. Bryce is another one. Like these guys I watched before I ever pressed record on a golf video, and I still learn from them. So to be where I am now is humbling, and I'm incredibly grateful and incredibly blessed to be where I am. I don't take it for granted at all. And I guess to answer your original question, yeah, I had an inkling that what I had to say was of some level of importance, and it just took courage and being honest with myself about who I am and what I want to say to put it out into the world.
Yeah. So do you have any advice for those that are trying to, kind of like how you revere those guys, people like me revere you, and obviously look after those guys as well for what they're doing? Like, what is your advice for someone trying to get into the golf space in terms of a career? Because there's a multitude of ways you can go, obviously with content, brand partnerships. And I honestly feel like brands are starting to recognize that almost to a sense that creators are almost more important than the golfers themselves now. Because they bring so much more brand awareness,
Yeah.
Like, no offense.
We're
we
your
love
boots on the ground.
Yeah, we love Tiger. We love all these great golfers, Rory, and, all these guys. But they could care less about your brand. They
Right.
play it because you pay them to play it, and then that's it. But
Right.
more kids will probably buy Adidas Golf because they follow you. More kids might look at TaylorMade or Nike because they were following Roger. And I know he posts some of these with them, but for those type of things. So what would you say is maybe a pathway or just some advice on how to get there? Obviously we're chasing that. Maybe not in the sense that everyone else is, but we definitely want to be a part of the space. I want to grow this golf brand that we have, and I want to expand it into, obviously vlogs. And I love to, if I'm in LA, man, to link up with you and get around and film some stuff. I think it'd be great. We'll have a great time.
Yeah.
But yeah, what would you, words of advice that you would maybe offer to someone, or kind of like maybe some guidelines to follow?
Forgot who said this to me. But you're one of one. Nobody is made like you. Nobody has your voice. Nobody has your inner child. Nobody has your experiences. So the more time you can spend quiet with yourself and listen to that inner voice, listen to that inner child, the more you'll realize that you have power. It just takes that courage to own it and then do something with it. That's, I guess, the overarching piece of advice. I do frequently get the DM like, yo, I'm trying to get like you, my boy. What do I do? And then I'll go through their page. I'll be like, I've literally said this to someone verbatim, because they'll name like, oh, I love, Bryce's content, Roger's content, your content. Like, what do I do to get? How I got Adidas, I literally studied their editing style. I took note of like the type of music they used in their reels, and I started posting in that style. Before I knew it, a PR agency reached out to me and said, Adidas would like to send you a pair of shoes. Would you be open to like posting a reel with these shoes? And I did. That's what led to the relationship with Adidas. I already knew, like,
that's incredible.
I wanted to work with a few brands. Adidas was at the top of that list, but I was already prepared for it. I already knew what they were looking for, and I knew they didn't have anyone like me on staff. So I was ready. As soon as I got the shoes in hand, I was out on the golf course. I knew exactly what I wanted to shoot. I knew exactly how I wanted to edit it. I knew exactly what music to use, and I was prepared. So what I told this guy in a DM exchange, I was like, watch my videos, Roger's videos, Bryce's videos. Do your videos look like that?
Yeah, emulate it.
If not, literally, I was like, I sent him a raw video of something I was in the middle of editing. I hadn't finished it. I was like, copy paste, just use that. That video is never gonna see the light of day, but literally copy paste. And a few months later, I went back and looked at his page, and
Didn't do it, of course.
He didn't use it,
course.
and is still, someone who, will comment and DM and like and all. And that's all well and good. Like, great. I'm glad you're still happy with what I'm doing.
There's just a lot of individuals that, to them, everything sounds good. It sounds good to have this grand idea and to DM you and say, I want to do this. But when it comes time to put in the work or the effort, no one's actually willing to do it, because obviously I'm a firm believer in sweat equity. So like a lot of to get, especially in like this creative space, I mean, like we've got thousands of dollars worth of podcast equipment and film stuff, and so be it. Pay for subscriptions for Premiere Pro. We're not making any money,
Right.
Like we got some discount codes, but that's really about it. Like this is coming out of our pockets.
Right.
And it's really that consistency. It's kind of like, I'm a big Nipsey fan, so it's like really it's a marathon. And I think people don't realize that it doesn't happen overnight, and it takes a lot of effort. And like you said, it takes, obviously for us, it takes connecting with people like you and kind of seeing what you're doing and how, like you said, we can emulate those. Okay, like I want to start getting these vlogs down. Okay, let me watch his videos because they're successful, and amongst these other guys that you follow, and then follow the blueprint. I mean, the blueprint is there. And it's obviously now these brands are willing to work with people like us. They see the value in us, which me personally, I truly appreciate now that we're in this kind of this new wave of how things are presented to us, which is really dope. But yeah, man, I'm super grateful that we got on here today and we're able to have this conversation, and that you were even willing to share our platform and give us some of your tidbits of advice. I do have a lot of other things, of course, I want to talk about. I see you post a lot about Black therapy. I see you post a lot about therapy, and obviously your podcast is called Group Therapy, correct?
Group golf therapy. Yeah.
Group golf therapy. And so, like, what does that, mean to you? Obviously, it sounds like mental health is very important for you. Likewise for me, like I tell people all the time, like I go to therapy twice a month. Not to say that anything's going wrong in my life, but it's refreshing for me. It's a great outlet for me to have someone to vent to talk to kind of help guide me through life, keep me in check on me. And I think a lot of people, especially men and Black men, are really afraid to have those conversations. Instead, they would rather, sit and just be, I guess depressed or sad all day. But yeah, how did that come to be? And, what's your relationship like with that?
Pardon me. I've never shared this story publicly. I was robbed at gunpoint in 2014. And that was my first stint in therapy, like dealing with the PTSD of that. It's still something that comes up every once in a while, but now I've like gotten to the point where I can handle that.
Yeah.
2014 was the first time I was ever in therapy. I hated it because I didn't know what it was. I was like, who is this woman I don't know talking to me about, like, why is she asking me about my feelings so much?
Super awkward, and they want me to open up and they want me to talk. And, I definitely have been there. I've been through three.
I don't know how to answer this. I don't have the words to answer these questions because I didn't have the emotional intelligence at the time. I didn't know how to put words to my feelings. And when I moved to LA, so being robbed was before I moved to LA, left this job at the school and tried the entrepreneurial route. I had a job as a nanny. I was nannying for some families in Hollywood, and I was doing that for a few years. And one of the families fired me, like no warning, no nothing, just fired me. Like I was home with their child that day, got a text message that was like, hey, wife and I have been talking. We're going to put the kid in daycare starting tomorrow. Wow. And while I'm holding their, 8-month-old baby, I had a full-blown panic attack. Like, for those that have never experienced a panic attack, it quite literally feels like you're going to die. It feels
It's unexplainable.
it is the most terrifying feeling. My chest closed up. I got, dizzy, vertigo. I didn't have balance. Felt like I was going to vomit. Like, it truly felt like the entire world was caving in on me. And that kept happening, like, not daily, but like a few times a week, to the point where I wouldn't leave the house. I didn't eat. I didn't work out. I was living with a partner at the time. Like, that was going terribly, and I couldn't explain it. But it was because of all this unresolved trauma, and now this like new onset trauma of jumping without a parachute. I had no, I had no sure way of making income. I live in Los Angeles, one of the most expensive places on the planet to live, and I didn't have a way to make money. So I panicked and panicked and panicked and panicked until I found therapy for Black girls. And I forgot maybe I heard it on a podcast or something, but it just stuck out to me. It's like therapy for Black girls. I Google it, find this therapist round the corner. I can walk to therapy. All right, let me try that. So I went to this person for a year and a half. And it was, what was I'm trying to think of the type of therapy they did. I want to say it was like
EMDR, I believe.
CBT, CBT, corrective behavioral, something. That don't sound right. Okay, so I went to therapy for a year and a half with this guy. And because I knew I had something going on, like I needed to deal with the panic attacks. I was like, I'm here to make this go away.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to talk about all this shit.
Yeah.
Make this go away.
I'm on a mission. Let's do this.
Right. So for a year and a half, I was wasting my time because my intentions weren't to heal anything. It wasn't to unpack anything. It was to fix things. I wasn't showing up as my full self in therapy because I didn't even know what I was doing. Like, yeah. I wasn't giving myself to the process. And after a year and a half, I was like, you know what? I don't feel like I'm getting out of this like what I want. Like, the panic attacks, I won't say stopped, but they were fewer and further between. So I felt like, all right, I got a handle on that. If one comes up, I can get through it. I can move on. I had a job at this point. I'm like, all right, so that takes care of one thing. I'm not getting robbed at gunpoint. All right, cool. That takes care of another thing. If another panic attack happens, right. I feel like I can survive. Then the pandemic hit, and I'm sure you experienced. A lot of us Black people experienced heavy trauma.
It was tough.
It was, 2020 was one of the most diabolical.
So 2020 is when I started my therapeutic journey. Because I dealt with a lot of, I've got a lot of unresolved traumas, and then like kind of how you spoke, I'm in a relationship and we're dealing with trauma, and there's so many things going on in my life, and then COVID hits, and now we're stuck in the house together. I'm stuck with my own thoughts. Yeah. I can't go anywhere, and honestly, that's why I picked up golf, because I live on a golf course, and I'm driving, when I'm going somewhere, maybe the grocery store, I'm like, man, people are out playing golf right now. I can't go to the gym. I can't go here. I can't go to a bar.
It was the only
that's
thing
what picked it
doing.
Up. But sorry, not to cut you off.
No, we're good.
Yeah, but
so therapy came back up during 2020 because my panic attacks started again, and I went back to therapy for Black girls, and because of what I was experiencing with, like, socially, societally, I wanted to tap into that as well. So I sought out a therapist that had like certifications or experience with very specific things. And it's 2024 now, so we've been together for 3.5 years, me and this therapist.
That's incredible.
That is the homie. I found a black woman.
That's incredible.
Who is also millennial, has a very similar background to me, can speak to my experiences in a way that no other therapist has.
Yeah.
And we unpack things. We get to the root of things. She helps me understand myself better. She helps me understand my emotions.
Does she keep it real with you?
Oh my God.
Yeah. You got to appreciate that.
That's why I wanted a black woman.
So my therapist will always say, she'll say something, then she'll go, I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that. And I'm always like, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the way you phrase that.
No, tell me about myself.
Yeah. I needed to hear that.
Tell me about myself. Yeah.
Thank you. No, that's great, man. I'm great. I'm thankful that you found someone that's super amazing and that you didn't give up. I think a lot of people go through kind of similar things that we've gone through, go to therapy for, a few sessions. It doesn't work out. And you're like, yeah, this probably isn't for me. And I'm going to give up and I'm just going to continue to spiral out of control. Because likewise happened for me, man. The first guy I went to, he was super transactional, which was super awkward for me. Like I'd walk in and he'd be like, okay, hey, let's take care of payment. And for me, that's like super weird. Like, hey, like maybe let's unpack what I'm going through, and then like you have my card on file and just swipe it when I leave.
Right.
So that was always super weird.
Does your barber ask you for payment?
Yeah.
Like, bro, you ain't even cut my hair yet. What you talking about?
Yeah. Like, so yeah, that was something else. But no, man, that's incredible. Speaking of barbers, do you still cut your hair?
I do. I'm due.
You're pretty solid at it. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I would not trust myself with a pair of clippers or whatsoever. I had dreads for a really long time too, so I never had the opportunity to get a haircut up until recently.
I got you.
So yeah, no, that's incredible.
I've been cutting my hair, since I moved here. It started because I was broke. To be completely honest with you, I was like, I need a way to save.
And what haircuts in LA got to be like $80, if not more. Shit, it's 50 here plus tip.
Taxing, yeah. I went to this one. So when I first moved here, I lived in a beach town called Hermosa Beach. Ain't no black people in Hermosa Beach.
No,
ain't no black people in Hermosa. I looked for the brownest person I could find, and he still chipped me up.
Yeah,
he still chipped me up. I got a couple free PBRs out of that though. Which was very new to me too. Like I was like, oh, this LA is different, And
Pabst Blue Ribbon, baby.
Yeah, I got a couple PBRs while I was getting my haircut. While you chipping me up, okay. Yeah, let me get a couple.
Definitely a lot more hipster in SoCal than it is on the East Coast for sure. It's probably a huge culture shock, man. I mean, you literally ventured from one side of the country to another.
Yes.
And completely different perspectives and everything.
Yeah.
To ask you something on more of a positive note, which to say, I mean, therapy to me is positive. I don't think that's a negative thing to ever talk about. I'm trying to learn more about the LA Golf Club. I try to do a little bit of research. Obviously, I like to know what I'm asking, but I'm a little perplexed on what it is. Is it an actual course? Is it a brand? I mean, I see they're doing stuff with TGL, so and you're the community liaison? Community. Okay, yeah. So, like, can you talk to me about that?
Yeah. Los Angeles Golf Club is the inaugural team of TGL. TGL is a league. This is how I explained to my parents. It's the NBA for golf. It's different cities, different teams comprised of pro golfers, tour golfers. The inaugural season was supposed to start this month, but they had some technical difficulties down in their facility in Florida. So it's the NBA for golf if the NBA were played in one arena, like if it were just at like the Staples Center. Yeah. And for this league, the Staples Center is in Florida. It's in West Palm, Florida. So the financial company SoFi is sponsoring the league. They built a stadium for TGL to participate in Florida. So at this facility, it's essentially a giant dome that you have to inflate. And in this dome, there's seating and the screen, it's simulator golf, but the simulator is like the size of a mall. Like it's a huge simulator.
Because there's opportunities to do more than your average simulator style of golf. Because I mean, I want to say I read there's like bunkers that they could play out of and stuff like that as well. Okay.
There's bunkers, there are greens. They have the capability of changing the terrain to match anywhere in the world. The putting surfaces are able to change. The tee boxes are able to change, and the technology that goes into the screen is Full Swing. Full Swing is a simulator company. For consumers, a Full Swing simulator setup might cost $10,000 to $15,000, but you can play over 180,000 golf courses using the Full Swing simulator. Analyzes your swing. It's a golf coach in a simulator, essentially.
Oh, for sure. I've played it, man. I mean, when you swing, it gives you, club face and
everything
that you hit on.
Gives you so much feedback. But for purposes of TGL, we're watching tour level players do this, and they're competing against one another. LA versus Boston, Atlanta versus San Francisco, and each team is comprised of 4 players. So there'll be a point system. There's playoff structure, championship structure, similarly to how other pro leagues are run. My specific role with the LA team is to integrate LAGC into the LA golf community. So the way we're treating it is as if we're the Lakers and we want to run camps and do giveaways and clinics and coaching and, play days with ownership group, with players and people in the community. Like the same way. So I used to work for the Sixers. I used to be a trampoline dunker for the Sixers.
Oh, wow.
So
you're a jack of all trades, bro.
I've lived many lives. I've lived many lives. So the same way I would travel around with the mascot and do like summer camps, because, the mascot is an extension of the team, and that is their way to do their community outreach. My role with LAGC is to facilitate all of that. So we're getting active in LA.
That's incredible,
man.
Started.
Yeah,
I think that's also. I mean, you explained it the best way that I've ever heard anyone explain it, because I've seen theories of the TGL forever, but no one's ever really broke it down to me. I mean, I kind of understood what it was, the leagueness, but I didn't realize it was like a city by city basis, and kind of what you're doing. I mean, I think that's really really dope. If you can share, who are the tour players that are on the LA team? I think I went to the Instagram, but I can't remember who I saw that was shared on there.
So the first player we announced was Colin Morikawa.
Okay. Great iron striker.
World number 7. And Sahith Theegala, who is world number 27, I believe, right now. 2 more players will be announced in the next coming weeks. I know who they are, and I cannot tell you, but it is really good. It's
I mean, you're starting off hot with 2 great guys. 2 young guys. Sahith is, obviously tearing things up as of recently. Incredible golfer to watch. Colin's been doing his thing forever. Super young, too. I think Colin's only like 26 years old.
Yep.
If that. So that's amazing, man. Well, congrats on that. I mean, that's incredible to see, and all the things that you're doing. I think, man, we've kind of covered everything that I really had. I was going to cover the application, but you did that prior to we started recording. So make sure you go to Bradford Wilson Golf Instagram. He's got a story pulled up called Applications. Didn't get it on film, so sorry for those at home.
Hey, look, I got you. I got to re-up anyway.
There we go.
The application process
for the fans at home, man.
For this is an audio medium, so if you're listening to this podcast right now, you're in your car, you're at the gym, you may be on the golf course, you may be on the driving range. Reach into your bag, reach into your purse, reach into that center console, grab that lip balm, and apply it.
Make it a habit.
You know you need it. Make it a habit.
Make it a habit. I can't tell you how many tubes of Carmex I've lost.
Well, that's the problem right there, Carmex. It's
It ain't the
toxic.
best. It ain't the best. I know.
I'm playing.
the best.
I have let it be known I have zero brand affiliation with lip balm. I love and frequent this tube of Aquaphor. Robin Rihanna Fenty very recently launched a lip balm I'm eager to get my hands on. If any of your listeners, or if anyone that follows this show or listens to the show has any ties to the Fenty Beauty brand and can link me with their marketing team, please do so. My email
I might know a guy.
will be linked, and Instagram will be linked in the show notes, I hope.
Yeah, I might know a guy. There's a local Kansas City guy who is actually one of her models. So he's all over the men's Fenty site.
Come on, KC.
So we'll see what we can do to plug you in. I'll just ask these two final questions, man. What is, and I guess one thing I meant to ask you as well before I get into these final questions, is Bradford still a thing? Is that still in the making? I know you posted about that a while ago. Haven't seen much of it, but I thought I'd bring it up and ask you kind of what the plans are for that. I mean, you're a busy man, so I know that's a lot to also focus on, but I thought I'd ask you.
My dad asked me that the other day too. He's like,
"Oh, really?
Hey, man, I'm trying to get some hoodies." I said, "You know how to get to the website? It's bradfordwilson.golf." So currently the site and the apparel line are on ice, and mainly because of my affiliation with Adidas. I wanted to create things that I wanted to wear on and off the course. Like the tagline I created for the line was because we're all working on ourselves. And there were a lot of like blue collar designs. Like one was made after a post office. My dad just retired from the post office after 30 years.
Congrats to him.
Love that man. All the asbestos he's got caked up on his hands from years of being outside in the cold. God bless him. The other is a hardware store. Just like some blue collar, relatable ass stuff. And I wanted to bring it to the golf space. And then things got hot and heavy with Adidas. So I was like, you know what? I maybe don't need to do this anymore. I maybe don't need to. The message still remains. We're all working on ourselves. You can still work on yourself.
No, that's fair, man. That's kind of what I thought. You know, obviously there's a lot of things happening with you, and that, you know, those partnerships are probably a little bit more important than trying to push a brand currently, but you might be to spin it off into something else.
We gonna see.
Yeah, for sure. So what are your 2024 goals look like for Bradford? And then what are your top 5 courses?
Ooh. 2024 goals. I want to be kinder to myself. I want to be gentler with my thoughts and my feelings. I want to pray more. I want to express gratitude more. I want to drink more water.
Stay hydrated.
I want to call my grandparents more. And I want to lower my handicap. Those are my 2024
gotta get with
goals.
your swing coach for that.
Exactly. So I need to hire one ASAP. Yeah, those are my 2024 goals. Top 5 golf courses. I wish I could flip my computer around. Rancocas Golf Club is number 1 in my heart. Rancocas Golf Club is in Willingboro, New Jersey. Every day when I went to school, every day I came home from school, when I went to church, when I'd ride my bike, when I'd go for runs around the neighborhood, take my sister's dog on a walk, I would walk by Rancocas Golf Club. It's the center of my universe. It's everything to me. And I've got a framed map of Rancocas Golf Club right above my desk. That's number 1. Number 2, actually, I should ask this. Is it courses I've played or like just in general, like courses period?
I mean, courses you've played, you know.
Yeah, I feel like that's
maybe
only
even
fair,
step foot on, but for sure courses you've played. I would prefer that.
Number 2, Torrey Pines. It's not the most beautiful course in the world. It's not the easiest course in the world. It's not the most accessible course in the world, but that golf course opened up my mind to what I was capable of and where golf could take me. Torrey Pines was where my golf team in college would spend our spring breaks. We would leave the cold of Philadelphia and fly to Southern California and play a bunch of courses in La Jolla and San Diego area. And Torrey Pines was a stop that we made every year. So Torrey Pines holds a really special place in my heart. Pardon me. Number 3, Erin Hills in Wisconsin. Erin Hills hosted the 2017 U.S. Open where Brooks Koepka won. Erin Hills is the focal point of a series of videos that Group Golf Therapy did with Random Golf Club a couple years ago. And when the cameras were off, the kind folks at Erin Hills allowed us to go play with the course kind of basically shut down.
Speaking of Random Golf Club, man, he gets to play some incredible courses.
Sure does. Sure does.
And he's gonna invite you out.
We can speak off camera about that. I'm grateful to Random Golf Club. I'll say that. Because without them, Erin Hills wouldn't have happened. I would not have had the experience that I had with Connor and Drew. Shout out to Connor and Drew, my Group Golf Therapy work husbands. Just when I think of that place, I think of the word magic. I think of golden hour. I think of a warm breeze. I think of peace. Erin Hills is that for me. Number 4 is the Peter Hay course at Pebble Beach. It's the Tiger Woods designed par 3 course right on 17-mile drive in Pebble Beach. I got my first ever hole-in-one there when I was doing the Youth on Course 100-hole hike. So, funny story about that. So I played with the CEO of Youth on Course. He was in my group. There were, I think, 11 groups out there, and it's a 9-hole course. We played it 11 times. Or, yeah, is that right? 11 times. Yes.
In one day?
Yes.
Wow.
It took 8 hours, I think. 8 or 10 hours.
Is it a 9-hole course, I assume?
It's a 9-hole course, yeah.
Okay.
On hole number 97, I got my hole-in-one. And bless his heart, Bob Baker, he tried to take my ball out of the hole for me.
Things can get ugly.
Hold on there, Bob. Hold on there, Bob.
Wait a minute, not right here, partner.
No. You're going to draw back a dub there, Bob. So, yeah, the Peter Hay course, number 4. Number 5, Roosevelt Golf Course in Los Angeles. Roosevelt is a 9-hole executive course in Griffith Park, right under the Griffith Observatory. Roosevelt brings back a lot of the feelings that I got at Erin Hills, and it's 10 minutes away from where I live. So I can go there and experience all types of wildlife. I like to tell people Roosevelt is a full course meal in 9 holes. You can hit every club in the bag. The elevation, the challenge, the accessibility, the people that frequent this place. I love that place. I adore that place. Yeah, those are my top 5.
Nice, man. That's incredible to hear. Maybe number 6, or it might squeak into the top 5. I think I saw something recently you posted about the Compton Golf. Is it the Compton Golf Club?
Compton Country Club.
Country Club, yeah.
Shout out
Looks
to
like that's
Compton
trying to be
Country Club.
revitalized, man. And if I make it out to LA soon, or whenever they get done with it, man, I'd love to play it.
Yes. Huge shout out to Compton Country Club, Aaron Grimes, Chris Staples. They're spearheading the movement. Compton Country Club used to be a thing. Compton Par 3 used to be a real operational golf course in the middle of Compton until COVID. Ownership's changed hands, but Chris and Aaron are spearheading that movement to get it back in the community. And as community lead with LAGC, I'm challenging myself to integrate LAGC with that project because it's special. It's something they've been really passionate about and promoting for years, and I want to see that succeed.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to for something like that to kind of blossom again, especially it sounds like the history behind it, like it's been around for a really long time. It's kind of like that mom and pop place, like, you know, when you and your kid gets out of school, you guys can go walk the course and play a 9-hole round. So that'd be dope, man.
Yeah. I mean, how dope would it be for kids in Compton to see a flourishing, lush, beautiful golf course?
And I mean, it's for the youth, man. Let's get the youth more involved. I love that golf is a forever growing sport. I love that more black folks are picking up golf, man, because I never thought that I would see the day that I would pick up a pair of sticks. I mean, I was in high school, man. I played football, you know, and I was an athlete and played basketball. And I mean, honestly, man, I feel like an asshole, but we made fun of the golfers. We're like, oh, these dudes are fucking losers, man. Like, what's going on over here?
Yeah,
now I'm at the ripe, now at the ripe age of, 31. That's all I can think about is playing golf, man. I mean, it's like that's all I think about, which is incredible. But yeah, man, I love the sport, and my daughter plays, and hopefully, like she'll pick up a passion for it, like I have. And but man, no, I really appreciate your time, bro. I appreciate you hopping on here and blessing us with these gems, man. It's been incredible hearing your story and seeing the things you've been able to do, and I look forward to, kind of everything else that you're going to do as well. I'll be on the lookout for all updates, man, and I'll always be following you, man. And after that, we'll give you a round of applause real quick. Got to give him a round of applause.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the
sure,
kind
man.
words, man. I really
Absolutely,
man.
And you can find Bradford at Bradford Wilson Golf on, is it all platforms? Are you on YouTube at all, or?
Bradford Wilson Golf is on YouTube, Bradford Wilson Golf on TikTok, and Bradford W Golf on X. Whatever the hell it's called.
I still have the Twitter logo on my
Twitter,
phone. I refuse to update it. I still got the bird, so it hasn't switched to the X yet. But no, thank you again, brother. I really appreciate it, man. Look forward to connecting with you in person one day and getting around it, man, and having some fun.
Thank you, brother.